Top 10 Most Mysterious and Terrifying Creatures in Teotihuacan Mythology, Central Mexico. 1. Feathered Serpent, Quetzalcoatl-like figure. This deity, resembling the Aztec Quetzalcoatl, represents a fundamental aspect of Mesoamerican religions. Often depicted as a serpent adorned with the majestic plumage of the quetzal bird, it symbolizes the unity of earth and sky, matter and spirit. In many cultures, the feathered serpent was a creator god, involved in the origin of the world and humanity. As a god of the wind, he was believed to influence the weather, and as the morning star, he was a symbol of new beginnings and renewal. His cult was associated with priesthood, learning, and knowledge, playing a significant role in the societal and religious practices. The worship of this deity often included sophisticated rituals and was connected to the ruling elite, who sometimes claimed descent from him. 2. Great Goddess. The Great Goddess of Teotihuacan, often depicted in murals, is a mysterious figure. She is usually shown with jaguar features, suggesting a connection to the earth and the underworld, and a headdress that could represent shamanic or celestial aspects. This goddess might have embodied the dual aspects of life and death, nurturing and destructive forces. Her association with water, seen in the depiction of flowing water and aquatic creatures around her, points to her role in agriculture and fertility. The Great Goddess may have been a mother deity, central to the creation myths and the cycles of nature. Her worship likely involved rituals connected to agriculture, fertility, and possibly ancestor veneration. The prominence of this goddess in Teotihuacan art suggests that she held a central place in the city's religious and mythological worldview. 3. Tlaloc, rain deity. Tlaloc, revered across Mesoamerica, was not just a rain god but a deity of earthly fertility and water. His imagery, found in various Mesoamerican cultures, often includes goggle-like eyes and fangs, symbolizing his power over the elements. As a rain deity, Tlaloc was crucial for agriculture, and his favor was sought for good harvests. He was also associated with caves, springs, and mountains, places where water was thought to originate. Tlaloc was a complex deity, capable of sending life-giving rains but also destructive storms and droughts. Rituals dedicated to Tlaloc often involved elaborate ceremonies and offerings, sometimes including human sacrifices, particularly of children, as it was believed their tears would appease him and ensure rain. The worship of Tlaloc was deeply integrated into the agricultural calendar and the communal life, reflecting his importance in the everyday life of the people. 4. Totec, god of spring and regeneration. Totec, known as the flayed god, was a deity of agriculture, spring, and renewal. His unique aspect of wearing the skin of a human sacrifice symbolized the death of the old and the emergence of new life, much like the skin of the earth renewing itself in spring. Worship of Totec involved rituals where priests wore the skin of sacrificial victims, imitating the regeneration of the earth. He was also associated with goldsmiths and craftsmen, symbolizing the transformation and rebirth in their creative processes. The rituals dedicated to him were among the most elaborate in the Mesoamerican religious calendar, involving not just sacrifice but also feasting, dancing, and military ceremonies. These practices highlight the deep connection between religion, agriculture, and societal roles in Mesoamerican cultures, reflecting a worldview where spiritual renewal and earthly abundance were intimately linked. 5. Chalchutlicu, goddess of water and rivers. Chalchutlicu, whose name means she of the jade skirt, was the goddess of water, rivers, seas, streams, horizontal waters, storms, and baptism. As a deity of water, she was inherently associated with life, fertility, and purity, but also with the dangers of floods and storms. She was often depicted adorned with jade and shells, and sometimes shown with a serpent-like skirt, emphasizing her connection to water. In some myths, she was considered the wife or sister of Tlaloc, the rain god, and worked alongside him to provide water and fertility to the earth. Her worship included rituals and ceremonies designed to ensure a balance of water, crucial for agriculture and human sustenance. As a goddess of childbirth and baptism, she also played a role in the human life cycle, overseeing the purification and renewal of life. Chalchutlicu was revered not just for her life-giving aspects but also respected for her potential to unleash floods and storms, reflecting the duality of nature in Mesoamerican spirituality. 6. Mictlantecutli, god of the underworld. Mictlantecutli, the lord of Mictlan, the underworld in Aztec mythology, was a god of death. He was often depicted as a skeletal figure, embodying the decay and decomposition that follows death. His domain, Mictlan, was where the souls of the dead traveled, undergoing a challenging journey before reaching their final resting place. As the ruler of the underworld, XolotlDog-HeadedGod had significant power over the dead, and rituals dedicated to him were meant to appease his wrath and ensure a safe passage for the deceased. His worship involved ceremonies and offerings, including blood and human sacrifices, reflecting the belief that life and death were deeply interconnected. XolotlDog-HeadedGod's imagery and role in mythology underscored the acceptance of death as a natural part of life in Mesoamerican cultures, where the cycle of life, death, and rebirth was a central theme. 7. Tezcatlipoca, god of night and sorcery. Tezcatlipoca, smoking mirror, was a powerful and multifaceted god in Mesoamerican mythology. He was associated with many concepts, including the night sky, the earth, rulership, war, and sorcery. Often depicted with a smoking mirror, which symbolized his connection to obsidian and his ability to see everything, Tezcatlipoca was a deity of omnipotence and omniscience. He was also a trickster god, capable of changing forms and influencing the fate of humans. His rivalry with Quetzalcoatl, another major deity, was a recurring theme in Mesoamerican myths, symbolizing the duality and conflict inherent in the universe. Tezcatlipoca was revered and feared for his power, and his worship involved elaborate rituals, including sacrifices, to gain his favor and avoid his wrath. He was a deity who embodied the complexity and unpredictability of life, nature, and the divine. 8. XolotlDog-HeadedGod, associated with lightning and death. Xolotl, often depicted as a dog or with canine features, was a complex deity in Mesoamerican mythology. As the twin brother of Quetzalcoatl and a god associated with lightning and fire, he had a significant role in creation myths and the cycle of life and death. Xolotl was also the guide for the dead, helping souls navigate the treacherous journey to the underworld. His canine form symbolized loyalty and guidance, but also the darker aspects of life, such as death and the unknown. Xolotl's association with lightning linked him to celestial forces and transformation, as lightning was seen as a powerful and unpredictable force. His role in guiding the dead underscored the belief in an afterlife and the importance of spiritual guidance in Mesoamerican cultures. Xolotl's multifaceted nature, encompassing both creation and destruction, reflects the complex worldview of Mesoamerican peoples, where deities often had dual and contradictory aspects. 9. Huehuetlod, old god of fire. Huehuetlod, the old god, was a deity of fire, wisdom, and time in Mesoamerican mythology. Often depicted as an elderly figure with a brazier on his back, he symbolized the eternal fire, a fundamental element in many Mesoamerican rituals and daily life. As a god of fire, Huehuetlod was associated with hearth and home, but also with the larger cosmic cycles, embodying the concept of time and the continuity of life. His worship involved rituals around fire, emphasizing its role as a life-giving and transformative force. As an old god, Huehuetlod also represented wisdom in the accumulation of knowledge over time, playing a role in the guidance of people in the preservation of traditions. His imagery and worship reflect the deep respect Mesoamerican cultures had for the elderly and the wisdom they represented, as well as the understanding of fire as a vital and sacred element in the universe. 10. Sentut, maize god. Sentut, the maize god, was a central deity in Mesoamerican mythology, embodying the importance of maize as a staple crop. Often depicted as a young, vibrant figure, he symbolized the sustenance and life-giving properties of maize. As a god of agriculture, Sentut was closely associated with the cycles of planting and harvesting, and his favor was sought for good crops and nourishment. Maize was not just a food source but a symbol of life and fertility, and Sentutl's role in ensuring its growth was crucial for the survival of the people. Rituals and ceremonies dedicated to him often involved offerings of maize and other agricultural products, reflecting the deep connection between the deity, the land, and the people who cultivated it. Sentutl's prominence in mythology highlights the centrality of agriculture in Mesoamerican societies, where the relationship between humans and the natural world was deeply intertwined and sacred. Note that while these descriptions are rooted in broader Mesoamerican beliefs, their specific connection to Teotihuacan may vary due to the lack of textual evidence. Beyond these, the specific creatures or deities unique to Teotihuacan are not well documented. The overlap with Aztec and other Mesoamerican mythologies is significant, but the direct correlation to Teotihuacan's own myths is often speculative. The site's murals and iconography suggest a rich mythological tradition, but their exact interpretations remain largely conjectural. Compiling a detailed list of mythical entities from Teotihuacan is difficult due to scarce written records, unlike the rich mythologies of the Maya or Aztecs. Knowledge of Teotihuacan's mythology primarily comes from archaeological artifacts like murals and sculptures, suggesting a complex belief system but lacking narratives or a full pantheon. While some figures, like the Feathered Serpent, are notable, they don't provide a comprehensive list. Many Mesoamerican mythological figures overlap across cultures, making unique identification challenging. Teotihuacan, located in central Mexico, is one of the most significant archaeological sites in the Americas, dating back to around 100 BC. While much of its mythology remains a mystery due to the lack of decipherable written records, insights have been gleaned from murals, architecture, and sculptures. Teotihuacan mythology is intertwined with its city planning and monumental structures, notably the Pyramid of the Sun and the Pyramid of the Moon, which align with celestial events. These structures are believed to have had religious and cosmological significance, reflecting the Teotihuacanos' understanding of the universe. Deities worshipped in Teotihuacan include the Feathered Serpent, possibly related to later Aztec god Quetzalcoatl, and the Great Goddess, associated with water, fertility, and earth. Rituals and ceremonies, often depicted in art, were crucial in appeasing these deities. The Teotihuacan civilization influenced later Mesoamerican cultures, leaving a lasting legacy in regional mythology and religious practices. For more videos like these, please like, share and subscribe, and please press the bell icon.